Tim here, FlipAnything USA, for the third time. Hey, please let me know right away if you can hear the sound here, number one, since we've had a problem here earlier. Anyways, I sold a house last week for $404,000, and the buyers, basically did their inspection period. They had their 5 days, and they've created a list of their concerns. And they hired, inspectors. They hired a slab inspector. They hired you need to check it for if you can hear me right. They hired a general property inspector. And then they also hired, slab, and then a roofing inspection, which is all normal and common. Okay. So I got their shit list basically, and you got to remember what either side you're on to this. Most people don't know this. They hire an inspector. It's horrible if they believe everything in the report, because what they don't sometimes understand is what's important and what's not important, right? And so then they can be scared for no reason at all. Rob, I assume you can hear me, since that you're not making any comment to no volume, so that's a good thing. So let me explain. I don't hire inspectors because I already know just about everything there is when it comes to properties. I might hire an air conditioning guy, check levels and stuff like that. I don't do that. But an inspector, a general inspector, will come out and he should look at the breaker box, and he should look to see that it's not a Federal Pacific box, or if there's any issues, they go in the attic. And if you see like J boxes that don't have a cover, exposed wires, that's fair game to point out. Holes, rot, termite damage, dry rot, water leaks, these kinds of things. But inspectors are in large part used also by investors to basically beat up the seller. I call them hit jobs, right? And so what they do is they create a hit list and basically bitch about just about everything, whether it's important or not. And then sometimes on the seller side, the seller's just as naive as the buyer, or sometimes the seller's naive and the seller's savvy. And so, you can see my roof already. I got my inspection. You can see my guys on the roof up there. So we're gonna go and talk to them. I think I already know the answer on this. But what we're going to do is talk with Richard and Miguel, but this is actually a good thing. So not all inspectors really are that good and know what they're doing. And so in this case, I had an inspector call out that there was no roof vents. Well, take a look at this. Look, nope, hang on. Look up at the top here. If you can see it up at the top, I can't show it to you. Right up at the top, you'll see that the top of the ridge is raised. Well, that's a ridge vent. The whole roof has got a ridge vent from one end to the other. And the inspector didn't seem to understand that. And so then you get to, we'll just go out here and walk around here a little bit. And I'll show you a couple things. So basically, let's call me. He's on top of the roof. So look here. So the inspector points out that this isn't up to code. Well, guess what? It's a 40-year-old house. Of course it's not up to code. If this was up to code, there'd be a plastic bubble cover, right? Okay, this is was perfectly to code when it was put in, but the inspector calls it out like, oh boy, that's a problem. No, it's not a problem. It doesn't have to be replaced. There's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly functional. It's just not what today's code is. You could inspect a house in 2023 and call out stuff that isn't up to code for 2024. Doesn't mean it's not perfectly safe and all that other stuff. Just mean the code changed. So on this, let's go in the house, son, and then we'll jump up on the roof. So there's legitimate squawks in here, and I'm going to show you some of the legitimate squawks, and then I'm going to, we got the roofer coming down. We have to talk to him here a quick sec. Hey, how are you? Yeah. Oh, you don't want to be on? Yeah, you look fantastic. Anyways, you've been on here before. So this is Ricardo. He's done many roofs for me now. And so, Ricardo, can we talk to you on camera or not? Yeah? No? All right, I'll be back here with you in a second. All right, go ahead. Anyways, he's a little shy today. Let me see here. We got to get in through the code here. There we go. And I'll let my son film me from here. There you go. All right. So let's talk about some of the legit stuff that they caught. There was a couple of ducks hanging down from here that, because there had been plants in here before. And I told my guys to tear it out. It got overlooked. No big there. I'm glad to take care of it. The other thing that was a legitimate, see this here? This is the water drain. This is, you know, if the thing ices up and starts to drip, the filter clogged, what you want is if the water starts to overflow, this is a drain, right? Well, you want the water to go out the drain. That's all good and fine. But what can happen is this drain line can plug. And so then the water starts to come up, and then it comes up and it floods anyways. Well, there's a basic switch that's kind of a check valve switch, but basically what happens is when it starts to fill up, that little flow comes up, and then it turns off the machine. It turns off the air conditioner, because that's what you want. You want not work. First thing we do is we go over and we see if there's water coming out of the condensation line, and we know it's plugged. And so you put a vac on there and pull out the scum, because that's what it does. It kind of collects and builds stuff, and then it's draining, and then it works again. But it's important to have that. And so they said, hey, we a safety switch on there, shut off switch, and so I'm going to do that. I'm going to take care of that. Now another legit thing they called out, and we'll go to the backyard for this, I think. Is up here. You can see these wires that come down that feed from the pole. Take a look here. Come here, you can see some bare wires. They called that out. No problem. My electrician's going to come out here and he's going to tape all that stuff, and it's going to be beautiful again. Now, what is ridiculous is that they called for the breaker box for this whole breaker to be replaced. That's a permit, about $4,000, because this is rusty. That's silly. And I'll tell you why it's rusty. There's a sprinkler here, probably spraying it. It got condensation and water got in there. But again, that's again ill-advised, poor advice from the inspector. Anyways, what else did they call out on this thing? You know what? There's a sweep. They saw a little bit of an air gap in here. Again, not a big deal. We put a sweep on here, and now it's nice and tight. Here's another thing. So this is something else to take a look at. They claimed that the slab needed $11,000 for, they went to like a foundation leveler. Listen, this slab is sound. You take a look around here. You got no cracks around the perimeter. It looks like it's been color coded once. But any crack down here in the slab that's really severe where they're settling, it's going to translate through the brick. And you'll see the brick. Sometimes you'll see the brick be separated an inch at the top and tight at the bottom where there's a crack, because that's what the house is doing. It's breaking like that, right? But in most cases, even when that happens after 10 or 20 years, it's settled. It ain't going nowhere. I've had inspections come out where they've looked at it, and I mean, it looked like a puzzle. It was broken so badly, the floor and everything. And they said, you know what? It's settled. It ain't going any further. And so on this one, they called out, this is like almost nothing. This is a little tiny fracture. See this? See this line? Little tiny crack here in the, and you can see how it translates up. It gets a little bit bigger. Again, this is like nothing. It didn't even go all the way through the entire wall, and no issue with that whatsoever. This thing's as it's ever going to. You know, on this, they called for insulation, for the insulation to be repaired here. It's really not that bad, but it's also no deal to do. When I have the AC guy come out and swap that switch out, I'll have him take care of that. So that's fine. On the roof, now the roof is always game. They wanted me to file a claim for hail damage, but the problem is I'm flipping this house, and I haven't owned this house through a hailstorm, right? Now, where there is some fair game, they'd had some sort of solar stuff in here, and they'd punched some holes through the roof. You can see the patches that we did. You can see where it kind of closely matches, but not exact on the roof up there. But the roof is good and solid and sound. They were saying that we needed vents on the roof, but like I told you, the ridge vent, that what you see along the top there, that's already done. But anyways, you can see there's a little bit of damage here on these outside shingles here. And so I told her, I said, look, I'll give you $3,000. I said, this roof has got 3 years left. And it'll cost maybe $9,000 to replace this roof. So I said, I'll give you 5 years roof credit, meaning like it's brand new. So I'll give her $3,000, or we'll just repair this, or she can get a new roof, and I'll pay for $3,000 of it. That's fair. Now let's go back inside. We'll take a look at this slab real quick for a second. They got a little nervous over the slab in the garage. Okay, you can see these cracks here. And this is not a big deal. Listen, the most important part is the foundation is the house itself. And you can see the footing there, little stem wall, all that looks great. There's one little crack here. You can see how the crack translates here, right? Okay. You know, sometimes when you have plumbing going through the beams of the concrete beams, or I don't know what a concrete beam is, you know, underneath this slab, about every 10 feet, there's an area with the tile might go down 24 to 30 inches. That's called a beam. If you look at a slab from underneath, it would look like a waffle. You know, in other words, it's structurally built like a waffle for strength underneath. So anyways, so on this report, we had a request for a new breaker box, not gonna happen, and a slab repair, $11,000, not gonna happen. And now the real point of contention now is the roof. And so we're gonna get the numbers on the roof. And like I said, I already said what I would do, but this can be a real spoiler, because if they believe the inspector's right, it's gonna kill the deal for them. And so, you know, but if I was buying and I was using an inspector to beat up the seller, and I get another $15,000 off, this is a good way to do it. And that's part of the game that happens a lot. But in this case, they're doing it with somebody that actually knows better. So that doesn't work with me. But nevertheless, it doesn't mean that these people, you know, they just may be naive, and they may actually believe they need all that stuff. But I got on the phone with them, and I walked them through and talked them with most of the stuff. And I kind of think we're just down to the roof now. And so that's what we're going to do. And so let's go on up to the roof. Take this up. Hey, let me see here. Hey, Miguel, can you call Antonio and find out what he wants? He's been calling me like crazy while I've been doing this thing. So look, this is a ridge vent here. And let's talk to Richard. Richard, I think this roof's got 10 years. What do you think? But it needs repair.
10 years it has already?
No, I'm asking you, I'm saying I think it'll last 10 years, but it needs a little repair.
Probably so. Yeah, right. About 10 years. We go up. No wind, we don't know. Maybe next month's wind. But yeah.
Yeah. We both agree 10 years, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways. So Richard's a really good, Ricardo, I should say, is a really good roofer. And one of the things he did really well last job is he always makes sure that we do a good job of kerfing in where there's brick around the chimney and keeping the water off the roof. And so what do you think, Richard, just to repair, just to fix, to make it look a little better? Yeah, it's worn here. But it's because I think what it is you can see these patches here. See, no, they had punched holes through here. They had some solar heating or they had some shit going.
The solar they was working on it.
Exactly.
Now I told me what happened when they was playing and put it on and as you see is what it is.
Yep.
And the solar that was right here.
Right.
And with the good spots.
Exactly.
Everything.
Yeah. So as a result, you got wear on this roof that probably wouldn't, it's because there's solar panels up here. It's fine. So anyways, so we're going to take care of this. And so what I told the buyers on this, Richard, is